The strangest moment of George Bush's presidency. A story that sounds funny, but is in fact deadly serious for what it says about presidential security and America's standing in Iraq and the Middle East. New developments tonight. We'll talk about it with Michael Ware in Baghdad and CNN security analyst Mike Brooks. First, though, the story itself and the amazing video from Tom Foreman.
The president's surprise visit to Iraq came with a surprise for him. At a news conference with the prime minister, an Iraqi TV reporter hurled one of his shoes at Mr. Bush and then the other fast behind. Secret Service agents swarmed, the reporter went down, the president laughed it off.
If you want the facts, it's a size 10 shoe that he threw.
Later, he took his comments a step further.
It's a way for people to draw, attention. I don't know what the guy's cause is, but one thing is for certain, he caused you to ask me a question about it. I didn't feel the least bit threatened by it.
The assault lasted less than 3 seconds, and in the secure room where everyone had been searched, security analysts say the response was appropriate. Watch the president wave off his own guards. But the response of some Iraqis is another surprise.
More people are hailing him as a hero, as a national hero, someone who dared to pick up his shoe and throw it at the U.S. president.
Throwing an unclean shoe in Muslim culture is an insult. Remember those people pounding that statue of Saddam Hussein with their shoes? Add to that what the attacker yelled. "This is a gift from the Iraqis. This is the farewell kiss, you dog." That journalist is generally described as calm and polite, and he's locked up right now. But parts of the country are certainly not calm, with protesters demanding his immediate release with or without his shoes. Anderson?
The shoe attack does raise serious questions about the president's safety. The Secret Service has been reviewing the incident, and now so are we. Let's be joined by CNN security analyst Mike Brooks. Mike, I want to look at this tape in slow motion because some have been critical of the timing of the response. This guy's able to throw a shoe, bend down, pick up another shoe, and throw it before anyone reacts.
Right. Well, you see him, he bent down, picked up the other one, and then you see the detail leader right here coming to the president's side, and then you see other agents in the back coming out to assist also. You know, where that agent was sitting, that's the detail leader, Anderson, and where he was sitting, you can't stand right up in front of the president all the time, so he was just off to the side in what he thought was a position where he could get to him fairly quickly.
It's amazing to me, though, that, it's another Iraqi journalist who actually stands up and breaks the line of sight between the shoe attacker and the president. You would think that there would be some secret, I would have thought there would be some secret agent, service agent, at least in the front row, sitting there.
Well, normally, and you know this from many times, Anderson, there's usually a Secret Service agent assigned back to the press pool area, and you have around the room where you can't see him out of sight are other post standers. So, but again, they have you had the advance agent there, and what they did, they decided that there was no imminent threat, and then you see the detail leader go up here, and the president basically waves him off, but then the detail leader does stay there with the president, Anderson, while they subdue the subject and take him to the ground.
Now, no guns that we can see are drawn. I assume they all have guns, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Secret Service, especially operating in an area like this. This is in the palace, in the green zone, a very secure area. It's basically like the briefing room at the White House, if you will.
Do you think they will change anything in the way they position in a foreign country from now on? Given the fact that this guy was able to get 2 shoes off, and no one really was able to stop him.
Well, whenever you have an incident like this, Anderson, the Secret Service always goes back. They right now, I can guarantee you that they were talking about this morning at this training center in Beltsville and also at Secret Service headquarters in Washington to take a look. Okay, could anything have been done better? Could the reaction time have been done better? But it's one of these things. Monday morning quarterback, but you always are concerned for the life of the president.
No doubt about it. Mike Brooks, appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, bud.
The other important part of this story is the reaction in Baghdad and what's happened to the reporter turned assailant. Michael Ware joins us now live in Baghdad. Michael, the reporter was arrested. What's going to happen to him?
Well, that's what we're all waiting to see. In many ways, Anderson, this is going to be a litmus test of the Iraqi democracy that President Bush tried to highlight after this shoe-throwing assault. The irony is that perhaps reflecting Iraqi opinion, According to the Iraqi Prime Minister's office, police are investigating this 28-year-old journalist, but not for an assault on President Bush, but for an assault on the Prime Minister. They're not pursuing him for throwing his shoe at President Bush. They're pursuing him for throwing it in the general vicinity of Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki. We'll have to wait and see if they think there's any evidence and whether he gets a hot poker in an uncomfortable place for that, Anderson.
The brother of the reporter had pretty strong words to defend his brother's actions. I want to listen to what he told ABC.
Americans have been disrespecting and killing Iraqis for 5 years, he said. It's time we pay them back.
Is that the reaction of a lot of Iraqis? I mean, there was a big demonstration. I think Muqtada al-Sadr's people were out demonstrating today.
Yeah, Anderson, that is a sentiment shared by an enormous section of the Iraqi community. We spoke to many people in the streets and beyond since this incident, and it was a common refrain to hear people saying President Bush deserved this kind of insult. However, there's also an equal portion of the community, it's fairly divided down the middle, that says, well, we condemn what the journalist did because it's such an embarrassment to our Prime Minister. But even those who condemn the journalist all agree that they can relate to the sentiment. They don't approve of his method, but they certainly approve of his message. And we saw the furious anti-American demonstrations in Sada City where people were calling for his immediate release, condemning President Bush and burning the American flag. This is resonating across the country where he's now being treated in many quarters as a national folk hero. Anderson.
President Bush did try to put sort of a positive spin on the whole thing. Let's play that.
This doesn't represent the Iraqi people, but that's what happens in free societies, where people try to draw attention to themselves. And so, I guess he was affected.
You know, I mean, had this guy thrown a shoe at Saddam Hussein or you know, post-Iraqi leader, the reaction obviously would have been very different.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as my Iraqi mates are telling me, if this happened under Saddam Hussein, this would not have happened under Saddam Hussein. The guy would have been lucky to make it out of the room alive, and I dare say he wouldn't be breathing by this point 24 hours later. But, I mean, this is just a sign, I mean, not just of the ability of free speech, and we're waiting still to see just how free that speech will be, but really, it's just this guy has struck a chord, not just in Iraq, but across the region. We even saw the most prominent Arab newspaper that's published out of London, influential across the world, applauding the guy and decrying President Bush as a war criminal. In many ways, I hate to say it, but after all these years of this war, it's a reflection of the esteem with which the Arab world holds President Bush, his administration, and perhaps a sense of American power. Anderson?
All right, Michael Ware from Baghdad. Michael, thanks. Let us know what you think of this incident with President Bush. Also, the story we're going to be talking about tonight, Caroline Kennedy moving on Clinton's